Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
He's at the 20.
They should stop this one.
What you got? Domination, snot bubbles.
He throws, complete, touchdown. They've got him again. They've got him again. Sack Crumpler, what a throw, what a hit, what a catch.
Defense is just way too much for the Cowboys.
It's caught by Alshon Jeffrey for a touchdown. He pushes, touchdown. Jalen Hurts, touchdown. A.J. Brown, a run. He's going to score.
It's a touchdown by Nick Foles. The train is in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Torrey Smith in for the touchdown is Jefferson.
Touchdown. Jalen Hurts.
Well, the Eagles have added some more depth to the roster and added some more talent to the wide receiver position when the Birds signed former Carolina Panthers wide receiver Terrace Marshall on a one-year deal.
Who in the blue hell are you?
And shout out to Eagles insider Brandon Lee Gowton, who reported on Bleeding Green Nation that through 4 NFL seasons, Marshall's 116 targets have resulted in just 67 receptions for 808 yards, a 12.1 average, and 1 touchdown. Now, this is a depth piece, another depth piece that Howie has added to the roster, but Marshall does have some experience at special teams where he logged 14 snaps last season. And also, even Brandon Lee Gowton says that he's been an underachiever thus far. He hasn't been put in the best positions to win, so maybe that we can see something come out of him in training camp and he can win himself a position, maybe wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. So we'll keep an eye on him in training camp. Now, it's been a long offseason and a long couple of weeks, and for the Birds, the offseason is in full effect, and there's been a lot of news surrounding Philly, with the Eagles preparing to host some of their top 30 visits, and a major shout-out to Eagles sports writer Anthony DeBona from the Philly Sports Network. He's been a huge help tracking this year's draft, and I also refer back to some of his articles about the Eagles' top 30 picks to keep an eye on some of the prospects coming in and out of the Nova Complex. The Birds are holding their local pro day today, with it being a bevy of Rutgers athletes like safety Shaquan Loyal, linebacker Tyreen Powell, and other athletes. Now, you might see this list being posted around social media, and maybe there's some more guys that you don't see on here that you might want to see. Just know that there will be many more athletes, and this is just the list that was reported. Also, NFL insider Jeff McClain reported that hard-hitting Southern California safety Jalen Williams will be visiting the Eagles. So I'll leave a link in the description so you can keep up with all the Eagles offseason and draft tracker top 30 visits and even more news surrounding the Birds. Now, respected NFL insider Adam Schefter went on Pat McAfee today and said that he expects the Birds to make a huge move on draft day, trading up or down, which I kind of thought was obvious, but here's him saying that he thinks the Birds will make a trade up or down in the draft.
I will guarantee you right now, we're going to get a trade or two out of the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know for who, I don't know for what, I don't know when it'll happen, but they ain't going to make 20 picks in the next 2 drafts. That ain't happening, okay? So the question is how they're going to allocate their draft resources, how they're going to move around, who they're going to add, but they will be moving and shaking as they usually do in Philadelphia.
And no, this does not mean we're getting Tyreek Hill. Us Bird fans even confused Adam Schefter's boss when after he made that draft day prediction, some Bird fans actually thought that we were going to trade for Tyreek Hill, which was kind of bananas.
Guarantee anything. I don't know where this came from. I was actually in the city yesterday doing some work, and my boss texted me, "What did you say about the Eagles?" I said they have 20 picks over the next 2 drafts, and they would be the team that I'd be most confident in doing something during the draft, whether they're packaging picks to move up or trading for a veteran later in the draft. That was what I said. Now, I said, what did it say that I said? Because what you say and what it says you say are 2 different things oftentimes. So I think he told me something like the Eagles were trading for Tyreek Hill, which I never mentioned.
No. That's not.
It was just it was portrayed as Adams guaranteeing that the Eagles are going to be making trades at the draft, and I said, did Adam also guarantee that the sun will come up and that water is wet? I said that didn't sound like the in. Well, look, we expect you to know the inside skinny. That's not the inside skinny.
Well, all I said was that they've got 20 picks, that they are the team that's most likely to be moving around and making things happen on draft weekend. That's what I said.
Now, even though Adam Schefter did say he expects the Birds to make a trade up or down, which is Adam being tongue-in-cheek, it's Adam being Captain Obvious, because everyone knows, even those who aren't Eagle fans know that Howie is going to make a trade up or down. I do, too, believe that the Birds will make a trade. Of course, I think that's pretty much guaranteed, but I have been predicting them to make a huge move on draft day, and that doesn't just mean a trade up or down. I think that Howie is going to make a huge grab at a huge player, and history shows that he's no talent at grabbing huge free agents, those like Justin Simmons, who went on the Up and Adams show and spoke about potentially signing with the Birds in free agency and his familiarity with Christian Parker and Fangio's scheme. Listen to this.
The Eagles, though, I mean, how much does the connection with Fangio and Christian Parker, by the way, the DB's coach, how much does that help and tilt the scale a little bit? Be honest.
Yeah, it really does. Like as honest as I can be, like I'm a lot of it too. Going back to your question earlier about Atlanta, like there was a lot of new, right? There's a new system. There's a new way to do it. Like going to Philly with Vic, you know exactly what you're getting out of me, and I know exactly what I'm getting out of them because I've been in the system. I still have a ways to go to mastering it, but there's some things and nuances that I know that Vic likes, that I know that Christian Parker likes, and I think I could really help in that area. Obviously, them moving on from CJ and what he's poured into that city there is big shoes to fill, but I love what they have going on with Blankenship and the rest of the supporting cast there. And so I don't know. It's interesting. I'm excited to see what happens.
Now I'm really excited about the offseason and all the prospects coming out of the draft, but I'm not really sure about what the Birds will go on in draft day, day 2, maybe like day 4. I'm still not sure about those days. I know day 2 will be the busiest days for the Birds, especially with Mel Kiper releasing his mock draft and draft projections moving Shedeur Sanders down to 9, a pick for the Saints that will give new head coach Kellen Moore a new rookie quarterback. If Kiper's mock draft is even halfway correct and Sanders moves out of the top 5, that would mean 2 to 3 quarterbacks could possibly be drafted in the first round, similar to last year's draft when all of those quarterbacks went in the first round. And maybe even 4 quarterbacks with Jalen Milroe being invited to the 25 NFL draft, which was questionable because Milroe's draft stock decreased extremely after the 2024 season. But I was thinking with my crazy mind, if the Steelers, who have the 21st pick, decides to trade back, let's say 24, 25, to get their future franchise quarterback in Milroe, and if Milroe is drafted in the mid to late 20s, this could be huge for the Eagles and helping them land one of those top defensive players right in the lap of the Birds. Now, that's a huge stretch, and I wouldn't take that to the bank, but we've seen crazier things happen on draft day. But realistically, and if I were a betting man, then I bet on the Birds to just trade out of the 32nd pick. And that's not too far-fetched because Howie does have history doing that. Trading up to get Jalen Carter, swapping out to get Kelee Ringo, a 2025 fourth-round trade with the Lions that landed DeAndre Swift. But if the Birds do decide to stand pat, at which position and what player do you think out of the draft the Birds should pursue? You let me know down in the comments. And speaking of the draft, today I'm going to give you my top 5 picks out of the draft that I think the Birds should pursue. The draft is approaching, and we're only 4 days away from the NFL draft. So, courtesy of Anthony DeBona at Pro Football Network, we're going to give you my top 5 picks. First, I got to go with Ole Miss cornerback Trey Amos. Amos spent 2 seasons in the SEC, but he spent 1 season at Alabama. And during those 2 seasons, Amos only allowed 41 receptions on 82 targets for 381 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, according to Pro Football Focus. He's an exceptional press corner with the ideal strength, size, and length. Amos knows how to use his frame and wingspan to bully smaller receivers at the line of scrimmage to the catch point. Those traits allow him to match up well with bigger receivers who have to work hard to box him out in contested catch situations or beat him in physical releases off the snap. He's really a dog at cornerback, and I like the way he plays with his physicality. I would love for the Eagles to go and get Trey Amos on a day 2 pick, maybe day 3, but I don't even think he's going to make it to day 3. On a day 2 pick, this would be a huge pickup. Second choice is Miami edge Tyler Barron. Barron recorded 48 total pressures and 250 rushing snaps, according to Pro Football Focus. After spending 4 seasons at Tennessee, Barron made a major leap in his lone season at Miami. Now, Tyler Barron isn't as quick twitched as most defensive ends, but he does have a great size and frame. He works well with his hands as a pass rusher. He has solid hand swipe and a cross move that he can win with. He has great instincts and a great run defender. He puts himself in position to take on blocks or get unblocked tackles near the line of scrimmage. So I think this will be a great pickup. We watch him. He's quick with his hands, and he against the run, he has a great arm length and solid upper body strength to get extension to set the edge against tight ends. He's just a great athlete. I think he'll be a great pickup for the Eagles. Third on my list is Shamar Turner, inside defensive lineman for Texas A&M. He showcased his versatility over the last 3 seasons, Anthony DeBono reported, and it's true. He played 500 snaps on the edge. He will primarily play the inside at the next level, but he played up and down the defensive line. If you go watch his tape, he was all over the defensive line. But following the departure of Milton Williams, he could help play a huge role on the defensive line. He could help alleviate some of the pressures on Moro Ojomo to step up next season. He has the skill set and size to be able to play multiple roles along Philly's front four. My next pick is probably the most popular pick of them all, Oluwafemi Oladejo, UCLA edge rusher, who set a very high bar for himself last season. In 2023, he played off-ball linebacker. He's played 84 career snaps as a pass rusher, according to Pro Football Focus, but that number jumped to 325 snaps as a pass rusher. He embraced that move to the edge, and he's great off the defensive line. He has good size and carries his frame very well with little to no bad weight, solid arm length as well. He has great burst and acceleration off the line of scrimmage to win with speed as a pass rusher, and he changes speed well to keep offensive tackles guessing. Now, my next pick would be a great addition to go alongside Saquon Barkley, Jaden Blue, running back from Texas. His production in the air for a running back was awesome. He had 42 receptions for 368 yards and 6 touchdowns. To go along with that, he had 134 carries on 734 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns last season. Now, Jaden Blue is a dynamic speedster, a one-cut wide zone runner. He has great top-end speed and acceleration. He can outrun anyone on any angle. I would be interested to see that addition along with Will Shipley and Saquon Barkley. A.J. Dillon was also added to that running back room. This would be kind of interesting. I want to see the Birds pick up Jaden Blue. Now, we're 4 days away from the draft, and I am extremely excited. And I know you guys need updates on all of your Eagles topics. So if you want to keep up with all of the Birds news, topics, off-season moves, anything, click the link in the description and you can go subscribe to Eagles Centric, and we'll have you updated with everything going on with the Birds draft, trackers, top 30 visits, anything. How we get hit in the head with the beer bottle, we'll let you know it. So go follow Eagles Centric. Thanks for watching. Go Birds.
Be sure to go like and subscribe to Eagle Centric. Eagle Centric is where you get your 24/7 Eagle news. To all of my Eagle Centric Eagle fans out there, Eagle Centric 24/7 Eagle news. Go follow on all platforms now. Eagle Centric. Go Birds, baby.